What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is Enters the Lab podcast. We are back on another Thursday. A lot of stuff after our Thursday, I would say. Got trades, talking about trading players of key significance, and talk about trading picks that will lead to questions to get a player of significance. Also, going to recap some of the things that happened later on in the free agent offseason. And we also have a big conversation about the traits versus production. What is more important for these GMs, these coaches, as we get ready for the 2024 NFL Draft? This is Enters the Lab podcast presented by Red Zone DC Media.
My fault. What happened? Eating Popeye.
This man said he's eating some Popeyes. Commercial.
I'm ready for a break.
Hey, this clip.
Wipe your hands. Wipe your hands.
Commercial.
We over here about to die thirst over here.
Thing on the menu today, bro, and that's work. That's work for 60 minutes, bro. That's the only job we got to do today, bro. What you playing for? What you playing for? What you playing for? What y'all?
Get real lonely with the mic on, bro. Just want to talk to my friend.
Welcome back to Enters the Lab podcast on a Thursday once again. We got the crew, but it's a little bit different today. Senior Henry has some things to take care of. So we got J Mick up here once again for his second appearance on Enters the Lab podcast. J Mick, what's going on, big bro?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to get to the weekend pretty much. That's about it.
Man, sure. I know that's like Lady Eve. Lady Eve.
Yes. It's the weekend. I got sushi looking at me. I got basketball on my TV. Yeah, we pretty lit. Oh, one thing. If BYU messed up y'all brackets, that's why I stopped doing the brackets. Bingo. UNC messed me up that year, and I was done. Gut.
Well,
Y'all got it.
Well, you pick BYU, then you really got a problem. Like, I mean, like.
Oh no, there's some people's brackets already messed up. There's already doing that.
I'm about to say every bracket I had them boys losing. I wasn't playing no games with them at all.
I know some people had Mississippi State,
Yeah,
but I'm like, they team, so it's starting off to be good though. Starting off to be pretty good. We gonna see.
yeah. RIP to some of y'all brackets. Sorry for y'all. I ain't into the brackets and stuff like that. I should be though. But anyway, let's talk about a bracket that broke between Chicago and kind of as Chicago Bears have finally did what everybody has speculated them to do. They have now traded Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, after they had signed a one-year deal with Russell Wilson. So now Justin Fields has a new home, and now the whole Caleb to Chicago thing can take its course. But let's go ahead and recap the trades. And let's start with you, E. So, Justin, he's a guy from your area and stuff. So what do you think about the trade for Justin Fields to go to the Steelers? Do you think it was a good trade in terms of the team he's going to, or the value that the team got him for? Do you think he's going to have an opportunity to be the QB of the future there, or the stuff to remain?
I'm gonna say this because Falcon fans went crazy when they seen the pick compensation. One thing about Justin is, make note, he had 3 offensive coordinators over his course of his time in Chicago. That's number one. There's still some things, in my honest opinion, as far as development goes, for a quarterback that's in year 3, where a lot of people were questioning him. I mean, we're kind of in a sense still questioning Trevor Lawrence at this point. So again, when we look at it, I feel like he's going to the right situation. Because in a sense, I know the Falcons were big players for him, but in a sense, you know, Falcons need somebody to start now. We got a rookie OC. He really has to understand this system, and that's going to be another learning curve that he has, and that's just going to put it down. Right now, the Falcons are looking to be like, hey, we're only a quarterback away. We're trying to be in contending for the division, let alone the playoffs. So it just wasn't going to sit well with us, because again, we would still had to draft somebody for him to sit behind or anything like that, or even not even draft, but pick a veteran for him to sit behind. So right now he's going through the perfect situation. I mean, again, he's going to learn from Russell Wilson. A lot of people probably are not that high on Russell Wilson. I feel like that's a good situation for him as far as leadership goes. I don't care what nobody says. If Russell got questioned everywhere else, he still brings that leadership that Justin can still learn from. He can still learn some good habits, and still learn Arthur Smith's system. And if he's needed, let's say Russ just ain't Russ. If he's needed, he can step in. They have a contingency plan that's after him. So that's the good thing about it. Now, if it doesn't turn out the way that they want it to be, he can't beat out Russell. They sign Russell to another year, whatever the case may be. That might be Tomlin's job. That might be it for Tomlin, because this is a big risk to take when it comes down to that. I think Arthur Smith is a good offensive coordinator, but I still think that Pickens might swing on him a couple of times. I'm just saying, if he doesn't get the ball. So again, it's going to be a little sight to see, but I feel like he's in the best situation for him and his development currently right now.
Got you. What do you think about it? I mean, this is obviously the Bears traded Justin to a team that's in the AFC. You know, do you think there are some things that you probably would have done better? I think there were some probably better offers for what they're saying they wanted to do right by Justin, but I kind of have a hard time, even though you have teams that do due diligence in that sense, I still have a hard time with, you know, the value. You know, a guy as talented as he is going for a 6th-round pick that will probably turn to a 4th, and you got Sam Howell being traded for a 3rd and a 5th. I just find that hard to grasp in my head.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel the same way. Like I'm a business kind of guy. Like I get it that you want to do right by the player, but at the end of the day, this is a business, and you got to get the most value you could get. And that's me saying this from a Bears team that only has 4 or 5 draft picks in this draft coming up. So it's like they could have used the draft picks that they would have got this year. I mean, from that transaction, but I mean, it is good to see that. I mean, like some GMs are going to do right by the player. Like I you know, like I'm a players first kind of guy, so I'm kind of happy that happened for Justin. I mean, I do think it's a tricky situation because, like, when you look at the business aspect of it, he's got like a 5th-year option that has to be picked up at some point, and I don't think the Steelers are going to pick it up. Doesn't make a lot of sense picking it up. And he's going to be sitting behind Russell because that's what all the reporting is saying. So I mean, like I just feel like if Russell comes in and he doesn't light it on fire, like the fans are it's gonna be a tenuous situation where the fans might be at games chanting Justin's name, and then it's gonna be I don't want to say it's like a Kenny Pickett situation because Kenny Pickett didn't start right away. I mean, but it might be a situation where the fans, if Russell's playing bad, the fans might start chanting his name during games, and they might want to see him in the game. I mean, it's got the potential for that kind of situation. But I mean, for Justin, I mean, for him, it's a much better situation. I mean, like the offense is better, the defense is better. Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel bad for Justin in a kind of way because if Caleb's got to do draft, Caleb was getting put in a much better situation than Justin got put in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's one aspect of I feel bad for Justin because he didn't have a DJ Moore or Keenan Allen or Cole Kmet when he got. So, I mean, so you got to feel bad for him, but I mean, it's a business. I mean, it's the NFL. So, I mean, I guess it is what it is.
Yeah, you're definitely right. And I think everything you just said right there is the microcosm of what we've seen from the Bears the last couple of years. You know, the team, they got rid of Mitchell Trubisky and they drafted Justin, and they had Andy Dalton as well. Probably wasn't ready to play at that point, but he had to play. And some of the things around the team was not good. That just shows you how much like this league, when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks and developing quarterbacks, it has become a problem because there's a lot of talented kids that get drafted to these places, and the organization at the time is not good, and they expect you to be the savior when they have to realize that you have to have the right pieces around them, or it's going to stunt their growth. And we see a lot of quarterbacks go through that. I know, for that example, Justin has shown flashes, but hasn't been consistent. So, going to Pittsburgh, it's definitely a healthier environment, but this is a team, that kind of needs to win now. I mean, to be honest with you, they are in the AFC North. They're playing with Lamar Jackson. They're playing with Joe Burrow coming back from health. They're playing with the Bears. I mean, not the Bears, the Browns, they've been there, but they've been in and out of some sort in terms of talent, but now they're trying to get their stuff ready. I agree with you. I don't think they're going to pick up that fifth-year option. I think they're going to let things run their course, and let's see what he can do.
Yeah, I agree. But I do agree with J-Mick. I do feel bad because, again, I think, didn't they trade back up to go back and get him at number 10? The Chicago Bears? Yeah.
Yeah, they traded right in front of us to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you guys did it. It reminds me of the 49ers, and I'm sorry, 49ers fans, but it reminds me of that situation. Like, you went out there to go get your guy, and then you don't have your guy that you went out there and get. And the thing is, this is what, 2021 draft class. We're only in 2024. Like, we got 2 quarterbacks from that draft class, or a couple of them from that draft class, that are not even on their original teams that they got drafted by. So yeah. I do agree that the evaluation when it comes down to quarterbacks for the NFL, something needs to be done. Something has to be looked at, because there shouldn't be any reason why these quarterbacks are not panning out. There shouldn't be no reason. Are we too caught up in the flashiness? Like Zach Wilson, we see him with this strong arm and can throw a long ball, but then as soon as we get him to the team, there's no development. Is that on the coaches? Is that on the player? Who do we have to really kind of, in a sense, blame when it comes down to that? Because again, are we blinded by what these dudes can do compared to their learning and development ability when it comes down to the NFL? Because again, I get it. This is a job. When you get here, you're supposed to know, and you're supposed to become better. But at the same time, there still needs to be some type of influence to where they can help them become better. You can't just expect them to do everything on their own. So it's something that has to be looked at, because this is kind of, in a sense, are we going to have like these new draft picks, these new quarterback draft picks come out, and they're only lasting on these teams 3 to 4 years? Are we gonna start seeing a trend like that because we can't develop, or they can't learn, or they misevaluated that this was going to be right for their team? Like, that's the kind of trend that we're looking at right now.
Right. I mean, right. And if you look at that draft, like those 5 guys drafted in the first round, 3 out of those 5 have been traded already. Zach Wilson, if the Jets could trade him, he probably would have been traded, but I'm not really sure how tradable he is at this point. And you got Trevor Lawrence is the only silver lining of this whole draft class. So it's kind of a scary thought.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, when you think about it, and then, like I said, the jury is still out on Trevor Lawrence right now. Yeah. The jury's still out. Again.
I mean, Trevor's only hope that this draft class has at this point. I mean, it's either him or nothing. So
yeah,
exactly.
I think the main thing saving Trevor, to be quite honest with you right now, is them getting Doug Peterson, and he had that 1 year production and getting into the playoffs. But other than that, if you look at it, he hasn't really, and that's why I have a hard time when people put these generational labels on some of these guys. To me, like, I didn't see generational with Trevor Lawrence, and he has numbers similar to Mac Jones. First couple of years, he has first through the he has similar to Daniels. I just seen that in the group chat. I was like, oh my God, this is nasty. But overall, he is the lead guy in that pack. I think Doug Peterson is kind of helping him out a little bit, and then Brock Purdy. As much flack as we give
An
them
anomaly.
going to the 49ers, he's an anomaly, and he has played good. He's just was in the Super Bowl last year, so it's going to be interesting, and it gives pause to some of these people now coming up to this draft. You got apparently supposed to be 4 to 5 quarterbacks, and not all of these guys are going to pan out the way that you expected, and not all going to live to the expectation.
I mean,
And why we got Jay Mick on here really quick? I just want to ask, because I know you probably a little bit more connected, boots on the ground with the Patriots. What was the main thing that you guys didn't like about Jones? Was it more so the development of him being the player, or was it more so your coaches not getting the best out of him?
So, like, I'll say it like this. Like, I don't hate Mac Jones or nothing like that. He's not the guy that I wanted coming out in that draft class. I actually wanted Justin Fields, and the Bears straight up in front of us. But I think it's a combination of two things, right? Like, I don't care if you're Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. Like, having 3 OCs in 3 years is not exactly what you want for a young quarterback. But I mean, that's one issue. And for that, I don't blame Mac Jones for that at all. Like that's just a tough situation to be put in. But the other situation is just him not really. He's the quarterback. So most of the time, the quarterback's supposed to be the leader of like the team or the offense or whatnot. And he wasn't that great of a locker room guy to me. Like he didn't inspire confidence in his teammates. And it got to the point in his 3rd year where like we obviously had a backup quarterback named Bailey Zappi. And Bailey Zappi, like it was a situation where half the locker room wanted Bailey Zappi and half the locker room wanted Mac Jones. And it's not just the performance in the game, but it goes to his presence in the locker room. And I just think that's something that if Mac Jones wants to be successful in the NFL as a starting quarterback, I feel as if he needs to be able to kind of, he needs to correct that pretty much. He needs to be a more, in some words, like a better locker room guy. And I mean, like as a quarterback, he just needs to be a better leader. And I think that's part of it. So it's like I don't want to blame him 100%. Like I'll probably give him about 50% of the blame, but I also blame the team as well too. So
Okay. I was kind of curious about that situation since we were on that draft class. I more so was curious. We already know about Trey Lance with the 49ers. That was in my honest opinion, kind of a messed up situation. So yeah, I just wanted to know what was the main reason for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you have to throw that in there, like Bill. Like, I don't think Bill wanted to draft him in the first place. I think it was more the owner, because like the season before we had Cam Newton, and he wanted a quarterback in there to get a new franchise guy. So I don't think Bill was ever okay with the idea. He didn't want Mac Jones, and I just think at the end last season it kind of showed. So
makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. And I had a Patriots fan on my podcast yesterday, and a lot of the same sentiments that you have. He has said the same thing, but he also said, the biggest thing has also been, not only the OCs, but the talent around him, consistency at the wide receiver spot, trying to get something out of it. And, that's something hopefully, kind of questioning, can a guy like Elliott Wolf try to do that? I'm not thinking it's going to be get everything this year, but try to get some stepping stones, some foundations built through this draft as well with how deep the offensive wide receiver spot is for you guys.
True, yeah. I mean, like I think like Wolf is taking like the process of the Packers, where it's going to be a little bit of a slow build. He's not trying to get the job done in one off season. So I mean, like I can actually appreciate that though. So
a different philosophy coming in.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, so that was not the only trade that happened this weekend. So we also have the Minnesota Vikings getting a first-round pick out of the Houston Texans, which is now pick 23. And now the Vikings have 2 first-round picks. And obviously, from what we've been hearing, obviously Kirk Cousins has left Minnesota. They have Sam Darnold, but we know Sam Darnold is not guaranteeing them being the future guy. Obviously, to me and all of us, they're going to try to go up and trade up for a quarterback. The question will be who and who will they get? And there are some ties to one player, and I should say what Josh McCown was a quarterback from North Carolina's head coach during the time. So that's intriguing. But also a guy like JJ McCarthy, he kind of fits the mold of what they want to do in terms of being under center with the play action in the Shanahan scheme. But in order to trade up, you gotta have a dance partner. And it's looking like 2 and 3 is gonna start the draft. So J-Mick and myself, we're gonna
J-Mick ain't coming off of number 3. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Not at all.
The Patriots are not. I just told somebody this the other day because somebody was like, "Oh, this." I think I forgot who, the Colts. He had made mention of the Colts trying to get up there to get Marvin Harrison. I said, first of all, who they gonna get past? Because they got to get past the Cardinals, and the Cardinals ain't giving up nothing. And if you dang think you finna trade with the Patriots, you out of your mind. They are in prime position to get what they need. They not moving. 1 through 3 are not moving. I don't care what nobody said. I mean, Commanders, I'm giving y'all about a 95% chance. Like a 95% chance that y'all stay. That other 5%, it has to be something very enticing for y'all to give up number 2. Very enticing for y'all to give up. Other than that, 1 and 3 ain't moving. Well, let's go clue 4 because Cardinals want Marvin Harrison. They like we staying put. I don't know what y'all talking about. So the closest they gonna get is if you trade with the Chargers. That's the closest you're gonna get.
Yeah, I mean, like the top 3, like the Bears, they can't. They just traded away their quarterback. The Commanders, y'all traded away y'all quarterback. I don't even know who you. I guess the backup is Mariota, but there's no way you're going to season with him being the quarterback. And I mean, we signed Jacoby, but the whole plan is for Jacoby to play 1 year. So the guy that we do draft is going to be the franchise guy. So yeah, you're gonna have to trade with the Cardinals or the Chargers. I'm not sure what to tell them the Viking fans.
I don't believe that the Cardinals are open to trade because the way they scooped in and picked up in on Marvin Harrison, unless they know something we don't know.
I think the GM said something like they open for business, but just because you say you're open for business, it could mean like you got to throw me like 2 or 3 first rounders, and then I might think about it. Just because he said that doesn't mean they're going to trade away the pick.
No, especially, I mean, if they want Marvin Harrison, and like I said, if they know they're trading with somebody that's going for a quarterback and they're going to get it, I don't think they want to fall anywhere outside where somebody that really wants a wide receiver can go get that wide receiver. So again, if you're trading with them, you're like you said, it's going to be some picks coming up. Like they're going to pull what the Panthers did with the Bears. They're going to pull that. Yeah. They're going to pull it. That right there. Hold on, their GM's former Titans front office guy. Okay. If they do that, they crazy. That's all I gotta say. They crazy. If they do that, they crazy.
I think it's crazy that possibly this draft could be 3 to 4 straight quarterbacks and probably 3 wide receivers right after that. With the wide receiver in the class, you got Doomsday, Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors. Some people think Malik Neighbors is wide receiver 1. I mean, me personally, being unbiased, I don't have a problem for some people thinking like that because it's highly possible some people on their boards think he is wide receiver 1 or Rome Odunze. I think Rome Odunze and Malik Neighbors in any other draft without a Marvin Harrison, they would be the number 1 wide receiver. It's just a very great class.
See, the Neighbors thing doesn't really bother me. Like it's like, what kind of offense are you running? Like if you're running like a run and shoot kind of, I don't want to say run and shoot, but like some sort of down the field passing game. Like I can understand Neighbors further. It makes sense. So yeah, like Neighbors to me going first overall in terms of wide receivers is not crazy.
It's not. It just has to go for the right teams. Like, I feel like each one of the top 3, however order you put it, they are specifically built for certain teams. Not everybody can go out there and go get them, if that makes sense. Not everybody can put them on their team and expect something to happen. I know us fans, we want the top name wide receivers, but at the end of the day, I always try to tell people, hey, look, you got to understand scheme fit. Yeah, they look good. Yeah, you can do that. They supposed to be football players. They're supposed to be able to adapt. That's why you get some of these football players where we're talking about, like, are they a bust or is it because of the scheme that they're in? And then if they do get traded later on down the line and we see them go have an explosive year, it's like, it was y'all. Like it was you that was doing that. Like again, I'm gonna use Calvin Ridley for example. Calvin Ridley for us, very good route runner, has a speed. Don't place that man in the middle. He cannot go catch the ball in the middle. He's not built to be running in the middle. He runs from contact. Okay. I see that man played hopscotch across my first down. Okay. I seen him play hopscotch. Okay. He slides anytime he sees contact coming on, even if he knows that the first down is still a couple of more yards away, he's still going to slide. And then that's a third down. So again, I seen him play in Jacksonville. Loved him in Jacksonville. Loved the way they used him in Jacksonville. Guess what? Calvin Ridley's not a number one wide receiver. He's a number two. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. Unfortunately. So again, sometimes things don't work the way that some of these players want. In Arthur Smith, he probably would have did good in his system. It's just he wasn't a number one wide receiver. He was a two. But we try to play him as a number one since we lost Julio. So again, right. It's just all about it.
All right, so I know this scene, Harry. So Minnie has 2 firsts this draft. Arizona could make the move. They got a lot of holes. They could draft a wide receiver and a tackle or a defensive player. Cardinals and the Chargers got enough holes to trade down with Minnesota if it's a haul to be had.
I'm mad that he called him Minnie. I'm mad he called him Minnie.
Yeah. I mean, there is truth to that, but I think the Chargers probably have bigger holes right now than Arizona. I think Arizona can build without, trading back. The Chargers literally they got no wide receivers. They got no wide receivers.
And then they center just retired too, so they need offensive help.
I think the Chargers probably need a little bit more than Arizona.
And I think the Chargers are prime for like a trade down because they need linemen too. And I mean, like you said, like the center retired, they get a center or a tackle. I mean, they already got a good left tackle in Slater, so they're good on that front. But it don't mean they can't trade down. And,
shout out to the Georgia boy. Just want to put that in there. Shout out to that Georgia boy.
But it's just something that they could definitely do. Now whether Harbaugh wants to do that or not, I mean, that's kind of up to him though. So.
Hold on. So what did he say? He said no one could pick the Chargers and Cardinals receivers out of a lineup. I mean, hey, at this point, at this point in time, 1 to 3 is solid. It's gonna be 4, and everybody else was gonna get a little murky. 4 and 5 might get a little murky, but 1 to 3, I feel like those top right there are solid. Ain't nobody moving.
And I just think for many to get up, I mean, like they're gonna have to give up the 2 first rounds they have, and no matter if they move up from 1 to 3 or 4 to 6, it's going to be a little bit more than just them 2 picks, though. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Well, Henry, I agree with that. They do have 10 picks. They could trade down. Roman Neighbors could be had in the top 10, but that's if they want Roman Neighbors.
It's true.
That's if they really want them. So if they figure out that they can still get the production that they would probably wanted to get from Marvin Harrison, then they'll probably give that up and take that risk on Roman Neighbors if that's the route that they want to go. Right now, it's just everything is pointing that they want that man from Ohio State.
That's a fact.
Who the other receiver for the Chargers? Oh, I know it's Josh Palmer. Yeah,
it's Quinn Johnston. Now the guy they drafted in the first round.
The guy they drafted last year, tall dude from TCU.
Oh, he definitely else. Forgot all about that boy.
Man, I don't know why.
Cardinals really don't have no wide receivers. We already knew that. They have to find somebody that little Minnie Mouse over there can throw to. Yeah, I took a shot.
Yo, Minnie Mouse is crazy.
Little Minnie Mouse can throw too.
Yeah,
I mean, they stuck with him with that big old contract. They ain't finna pull what Denver did with Russ. They stuck. So give him somebody he can throw to.
Okay, so another thing I want to have a conversation about is so we know with the draft, there's many ways that these teams can go, but a lot of times these teams have a hard time of getting the talent they needed or just going with the guy who is right there and can instantly impact your team regardless of position. So all three of our teams up here, we're definitely at this point where some of us are a little bit more built in terms of them making the moves right now to go win some championships or get in the playoff compete. And some of us are some teams, we're trying to find some ways to build it the right way, whether it's slow or long. You have teams like Houston Texans made it from worst to first last year, and many other examples as well. So, what is y'all stance on best player available versus the player of need?
Somebody said it in the chat. Rebuilding teams probably can go best player available. The stronger teams can go based off those needs. I kind of agree with that. I mean, in a sense, I know my GM goes with best player available, hence why we did what we did. They didn't go for need. Now this year, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't want to use that BPA because I need an edge. If I don't get one this off season, even though I want to double dip in the draft too, but if I don't get one this off season, then that's number one on my board. I need an edge. I can't go another season without having nobody to be able to affect the quarterback. I'm sorry. So my team needs to be drafting for needs at this point, not BPA. We don't need to do that. We need to draft for needs. Beforehand, that was fine. We were rebuilding in a sense, so that's good. But this upcoming draft, I need my edge, and I better get my edge, or I'm going to Flowery Branch.
I mean, for me, I tend to agree with it, what was said. It's just like, if you're in, my team was obviously the third overall pick. My team desperately needs a quarterback to build around, because it's like what I've witnessed in free agency is if you're trying to sign offensive players and you don't have a quarterback, it's not really it's not a place where a lot of offensive veteran guys want to go. And so I can call best player available all I want, but without a quarterback, the offense is just not going to move. The 49ers, an example, they built around the BPA, concept, and it worked for them. But they also looked out and found a quarterback in the 6th round that's essentially their franchise guy. So I mean, for teams like the Chiefs and the Ravens, Steelers, teams like that are perennially making the playoffs every year, I think they can go BPA. Versus the teams that are trying to rebuild, I think you never want to go needs, but sometimes you just force into that sometimes.
Yeah.
I think quarterback is the exception, because it's a premium position, is a position of opponents and dependence as well. So quarterback is definitely something for a lot of teams. If you don't have that guy, you don't have that definite guy, you need to go ahead and draft them. Now, the evaluation is up to you, whoever you feel like is the guy that is best fitted for you, not only based on the physical, but the mental as well. Because we see a lot of these good players and stuff, they don't have the mental that can help fulfill the needs for NFL teams. But I'm definitely, I have experience past couple of years with Washington for them not drafting really the best player at that spot. They have gone for needs, but they wasn't the best player at those needs. We missed out on a guy like Chris Olave, and yes, I'll be completely honest. We were pretty hype about the trade down of getting Jahan Dotson, Brian Robinson, Sam Howell, Cole Turner, and while we still have some production, I still think Olave overall is the better player at that position that we could have gotten, and maybe even a Kyle Hamilton who's already had a all-pro season. So it's things like that has come to my mind. Is okay, trading back is cool, but you're missing out on that player that could be a game changer. And a lot of teams miss out on game changers because they go out with guys that can just do the job.
Makes sense.
I agree. I agree. I mean, the thing with the trade backs, in my opinion, could be a business move. Maybe somebody is looking at a particular player but don't want to draft, because I think the NFL, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, they still do if a previous person in that position was drafted in that spot, that's kind of like where the basis of the contract is. So some people might not think that somebody And I'm just throwing out a random name right now. Lad McConkey. Like, somebody might not think a Lad McConkey is a top 10 pick, or somebody might not think a Brock Bowers is a top 3 pick. You see what I'm saying? So they might trade back and get a better value for the guy that they particularly want, especially if they know, okay, I know for a fact the Patriots and the Cardinals and a Charger, they're all going offense. You know what I mean? Or they're all going defensive players. So I know for a fact my guy is still going to be there at number 8, 9, or 10. So it's a game of Russian roulette, but it's also, you have to really know what these teams are basing their draft on. Because we know by the time the second round comes, if there's a run on a particular position, all other teams are going to hop on that position if that's one of their needs, or if they're doing BPA. It doesn't really matter. But if that's one of their needs, then they're going to go ahead and go for that. We see a lot of that when it comes down to like the second round, but we know how the first round plays. You know what I mean? So
I mean, but like the runs on players to me is difficult, because it's like, say you got a run in the second round, but you already made your pick already, and you were hoping that position was going to be there for you in the third, and now it's not looking that way. So I mean, now you got to make adjustments to your draft strategy, which that can be tough sometimes.
Oh yeah. When you got to make that, I think that's a lot. I'm gonna take it from there. A lot of people said the Falcons were supposed to draft Trey Lance. Then the 49ers hopped above us, got Trey Lance, and that's what made us get Kyle Pitts, because it was BPA at that time. Get the best player available on the board, Kyle Pitts. A lot of fans didn't like that, but I'm just like, hey, we're a team that's rebuilding right now. Getting needs is not going to make a difference. Yes, we haven't seen, Kyle Pitts yet, because again, that man had 3 different quarterbacks in 3 different years. That affects you. And then he had an injury, and then he wasn't 100% last year too. So he had a lot of setbacks going into there. But again, I agree. The draft strategy changed a lot when you got those runs, or even if you think that, hey, I didn't trade it back, or I didn't, hopefully I could have moved up and I stayed in this spot. I could have went and got my guy, and now my guy is gone. So now that changes up what you really, and that's why sometimes we be like, whoa, they reached for that player. Well, that's their second player on the board, unfortunately.
Fact.
Yes, Dan Quinn did call Jaden Daniels a game changer. He also made a comment that he would choose Drake May to go to a bar with, if I'm not mistaken. So this is for the first time I feel like this organization has been very tight-lipped with what they want to do at the quarterback position, and I am pretty okay with it. I'm tired of some people just suggesting, oh, we're going to go with this guy because we got Marcus Mariota and all this thing of nature. Like, they could go Drake May. I don't think it matters. I just want them to pick their guy. I don't want them to pick a guy that's being suggested at the last minute. Peters,
I agree.
That's right,
I agree. I mean, I think that's everybody. Like, especially for some of us that got new coaches. All of us on here got new coaches. With us having those new coaches, we don't want to be in a Chicago situation where we pick a person that was that regime. That regime don't want her. We don't want to be a Denver Broncos where the coach didn't want him, we wanted him. They didn't. And all this finger pointing. I feel like, hey, look, if this is your guy, go get your guy that that you can win with to keep your job. Let's be real. Go get the person that's gonna keep your job.
I mean, I also think it's a good thing what happened last year with CJ Stroud, because it's like a lot of times people feel like if you don't got the first pick and you can't pick your quarterback, it might end up not how you want it. But I think that with the Texans last year, like Bryce was the guy, and then they were forced into drafting CJ, and then CJ ended up having the better first year out of those 2 guys. Yeah. So I mean, it does give you hope there, and also like the Colts drafted AR number 4. When he was playing really well. So I think situations like that for teams like ours that are in the top 3 looking for a quarterback, like it does give you some sort of hope. So.
Oh yeah.
So those are.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say those are 2 examples of with Houston building through the draft, supplanting in free agency, and with the Colts having a bright mind as a head coach with Shane Steichen. I think Shane Steichen has done a outstanding job his first year with the Colts. I can't wait to see what they do with Anthony Richardson. Hopefully, he can stay healthy and they add some more in the wide receiver room. But that's just showing like coaching and building your team correctly matters in the NFL.
Yeah, I said that last year when they did the trade back and went back and got Will Anderson. I said y'all better watch out for them Houston Texans because they being sneaky. Y'all letting them sit over here and be sneaky, and they gonna shock all of y'all. Now I did say give them a year. I did say that, give them a year. I didn't think that they were going to do what they did. So that just shows you the coaching, the believement of the team. They went out there and got the right guys. And then this year, this offseason, they came in and they racked up some more good players.
Yeah.
So again, Houston said, look, we're going to suck these little couple of years. That's fine. And we just going to start building and building and building and building. And can't get mad about that. That's just what you call a good draft strategy. You know what I mean? And not a lot of teams can say that. But hey, we all got new. Well, I mean, my GM is still there, but I know some of us all got new GMs. We got new head coaches. We got new team mottos. We got new identities going in. And at this point in time, it's just kind of like, look, don't y'all disappoint us. Don't disappoint us.
Yeah, I'm just glad I'm not in the AFC South. I'm just gonna say that outright right now because that thing, the way it's looking, look like it's about to be crazy over the next 3 to 5 years at least.
Oh no, it is. If, like I said, if we can get what we want to get out of Trevor Lawrence, that division is always going to be competitive. It really is.
Yeah, and then the Titans, like they've solidly had a pretty good offseason. I'm kind of to see what they do in the draft to see how they can show up the line on in the trenches on offense and defense and just see how they can build. Like Will Levis, I'm still not 100% sold on Will yet. So I mean, I just got to see more from him. But I mean, if he keeps progressing, I mean that's gonna be a hard division.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Like I said, even though I'm not a Texas girl and I don't like anything Texans, but anything other than the Cowboys, I root for. So I'll go with the Texans. I just feel it. And on top of that, CJ Stroud, Look, I got Stroud in my head. CJ showed that he can be that leader. Like he showed that, and it's the development too. He was always constantly trying to find ways to get better, find ways to do things. He became, I think, what was that one clip where he said that his center was sweating on him, and he was like, "Hey, get him another shirt. He wet. Like, let's get him another shirt." So that just shows you he was already in that mindset to know that. I mean, I'm not saying that all rookies don't do that, but in the same token, to know like, hey, I threw a ball that didn't come out my hand right. And thank God it landed where it landed, but it didn't come in my hand right because my center wet. So again, it's just like things like that just impresses me because it just shows the mentality that he is. He understands, like you were saying, J. Mick, earlier about Mac Jones. He wasn't showing that leader. CJ has shown that he can be that leader, and everybody believed in him. Everybody knew that where they was going, and look where it led them. So again, like I said, like you said, you guys are gonna get some quality guys here. There's some good guys that are right there at that top 3. You know what I mean? It's just hopefully the development goes and they pan out the way that everybody think they're gonna pan out.
Yeah, you're right. But I think one thing that's going to be a conversation, I've been seeing it lately, people are asking even before these guys even get on teams, who's going to be the CJ Stroud of the class in terms of the year that CJ had, which it's a larky expectation because not everybody is going to have the same situation like what Houston has. Mm-hmm. And you still need to see what team these guys probably go, but you're probably going to have to go with the guy who has probably the highest floor and instantly come in and have an impact, but not necessarily have that ceiling that everybody wants to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of like people gotta understand with the CJ Stroud thing. Like rookie quarterbacks don't have years like that. Like, I mean, statistically, he probably had one of the best, rookie quarterback years in the history of the league. Like, I mean, you got to look back to maybe like Dan Marino or something like that. And his rookie year that he played. So, I mean, like those are very lost, like to have those kind of expectations to me is a little bit crazy because it's like you just can't, you really can't expect that from, like year to year.
Yeah, you can. I mean, and that's one thing. I get it that the NFL is like, what have you done for me? And it's a copycat league. The thing is, you cannot be putting that expectation. Like even the word generational, I'm getting tired of that word. Cause I'm like, not every kid that comes out every year is freaking generational. Stop it. Stop it. Like, and then you were like, okay, well then who's gonna be the next CJ Stroud? Nobody. In my Keith Sweat voice, nobody. Because it's only one CJ Stroud. That's what people got to understand. And then the situation that he came in was probably a better situation because everybody coned Bryce Young to have the year that CJ had. And look where we at. Now everybody's kind of questioning, like, is Bryce really that dude? Like, again, we don't need to put these I'm just gonna stick to it. Wait till year 3, guys. Wait till year 3, and then we can circle back and have this conversation. Wait till year 3, please. Like, stop trying to think these rookies are going to come out and do exceptional things when one person has done it. That was an anomaly, just like Bryce Purdy being Mr. Irrelevant, and now they franchise quarterback. That's an anomaly. You're not going to find Mr. Irrelevant and a quarterback in the 7th round and think it's going to be your starter. Let's not do that. Okay? Let's not. But give me 3 years because right now I need to see in year 4, I need to see Trevor Lawrence, and I'm going to start labeling. Just saying.
The problem
I got my
with that,
printer
though,
ready so I can label.
The problem is that, though, it's like it's a copycat league, so everybody think they can do that, but the high probability of that happening is very, very rare. It's 1 out of 1,000 chance some of these things are going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like one of those teams that's looking to draft a quarterback that's probably going to draft one in the 1st round. Like, I'm not even going to do that. Like, because I just went through drafting Mac Jones 3 years ago, and I didn't even have them expectations. I'm going to be honest. I didn't want Mac Jones to begin with. And so I had to take on a quarterback I didn't want in the 1st round. So it's like you got to just kind of level your expectations. Like, there's going to be bumps in the road. And, I mean, CJ had a great year. I'm not expecting to see a rookie quarterback have that kind of year at least for another 5-10 years. I mean, if that. It might be even longer than that. So yeah, so
he broke Cam Newton's rookie. He broke his rookie.
I think he broke the rookie touchdown record. I think
record. Yeah. Okay.
I think, and I'm not sure about wins because I think Texans had 10 wins because I know Mac Jones had 10 wins too. So I'm not sure about the QB wins thing, but yeah, I mean he broke a lot of different records, man. So I mean, like, praise to him and doing that, and just like because people don't remember the preseason, man. Like his first game was against the Patriots in the preseason, and he was looking kind of shaky. And I mean, like
the whole team looked shaky. The line looked shaky, and I was concerned.
And so like that's when people was like, "Yo, is CJ really gonna be good?" And then like after the Ravens game, he came out and he was on fire. So I mean, power to him. But yeah, I mean, like you gotta just for teams like the Bears, the Commanders, the Patriots, or maybe even the Vikings or the Giants are gonna draft quarterbacks. You gotta kind of level your, like the guy you do get, like I wouldn't say, hey, he's gonna be like CJ Stroud because that's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, I just think just because the league is a copycat league, I think a lot of people are coning and already they probably already got Caleb Williams doing what CJ did. I'm like,
I mean, but Caleb's in a tough situation too, though, because he's going to normally you're the first overall pick. You don't go to a team that has 7 wins. Like he going to a team that got 7 wins. They made upgrades, and now if they don't win at least 7 games next year, like I've heard this. I've heard this in like in my friends that I talk to daily about football or on Twitter or whatever. Like they're talking like if he don't at least win 7 games, then it's a failure. So I mean, he's in a good spot, but he's gonna have to do something. So
I'm gonna tell you this: that could have been the Carolinas pick if they would have never traded it away. But we're not even gonna talk about that because little brother and them still trying to figure out stuff. Like they still trying to figure out things. Like they fans talking a little bit. So
yeah, I was gonna say if they had that pick, they definitely going Neighbors or Neighbors or Marvin, definitely without doubt.
So. Yeah, you gotta give Mighty Mouse over there something to throw too. You got Minnie Mouse and Mighty Mouse. 2 good combinations.
And gotta keep up with the nicknames like this.
I mean, hey, they small. You got Mighty Mouse and you got Mighty Mouse. See, you got Minnie Mouse, Mighty Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Mighty Mouse. Just saying, and they both play on C teams.
to that point, if Caleb goes to the Bears, that's it. Yes, they do have a healthy situation, but you know how bad it would be. They do all that and they still can't beat the Packers.
There's a possibility it won't be the Packers. There's a possibility that Jordan Love could be even better than he was last year. It's a real
It's a
possibility.
possibility that he can be, in a sense, Aaron Rodgers, because he did learn behind that man, and them throws were looking very Aaron Rodgers. I'm just saying.
And then you still got to contend with the Lions. The Lions won the division last year. The Lions is building too. So we got to contend with the boys too. So it's for Caleb, it's not going to be easy, and Caleb not going to be playing in like California no more. Like wherever he goes, it's not going to be warm all year round. So,
and even the Vikings, even without Kurt, they were still, fighting. They were still fighting. Now the quarterback is going to be entirely different, and I don't know how that's going to look. But I still think this is a tough division. Have the number one guy, and all eyes are on him. And even you got one future teammate is like, don't bring that Hollywood stuff over here because we're going to be watching.
True, yeah.
We gonna see. The AFC North is going to show a lot. So we gonna see. That's AFC North, NFC North. See, look, I don't give a care about them. Shoot, I'm waiting on this draft.
Both of them black and blue divisions knock you out.
Yeah, that's true.
Both of them black and blue, man. Tell you that right now. All right, J Mick, appreciate you hopping on the show with us tonight, bro. I know you got some things you got to take care of real quick.
And I appreciate it though, and it was fun. So.
Oh yeah, trust me, you're gonna come back. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they always come back. Well, some of them, but you're gonna come back. You're gonna come back. All right, bro.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye, Nick.
Bye.
All right, so that was the next thing I wanted to talk about because Jalen Johnson saying that on the Kay Adams show, and it's they already expecting CW to be the guy in Chicago, and immensely it's going to be a lot of pressure for him to replace Justin because Justin was a guy. Of course, he didn't live up to a lot of people's expectation, but in terms of being that locker room guy, they loved him. So now you're coming to a team who seen their teammate get traded away over the weekend, and now you're highly touted, and they're expecting you to come in and actively play. Do you think that's going to be? You think that's going to be a problem for Caleb's first year in the NFL?
Yeah, because they're gonna expect a lot from him. I do. I feel like that the expectations are high. I really do feel like they're gonna be putting him on a pedestal. Because again, a lot of Chicago Bear fans love Justin. They love Justin, and some of them were kind of upset. And then he had his pro day. Some fans were like, "Okay, let's bring him on." But again, I feel like Caleb was going to have a tough time, but I feel like Justin's pretty much going to have that other tough time because, again, you got to understand Pittsburgh Steelers fans are not kind either. If Russell doesn't do it and if Justin doesn't do it, now they're looking at both of them like, why did you bring them over here if they can't do anything? So, again, it's going to be the same thing for Caleb. I feel like it's just with Caleb, even though he's a rookie, they're expecting him to come out, and I agree with J. Mick. He's going to have to win at least 7 games, and I hate that for him.
Kirk, oh my God.
Get Deuce out the tournament. Bye, Deuce.
Yo, Kirk Cousins on Freeland is crazy. But yeah, I agree. But they won 7 games last year, though.
I think that's going to be the standard and I think they're going to give him that little way because he's a rookie. If he wins one more game, cool. You know what I mean? But then I feel like Chicago Bears fans are really going to start questioning their ownership. And pretty much asking, was it really Justin or was it y'all? You know what I mean? So again, we're gonna see. Caleb is coming into a better situation. He's being drafted into a better situation, but at the same token, too, they're gonna have higher expectations because that situation is better than what Justin had.
I see it. I was okay with whatever the Bears would do, either or. I know, obviously, for everybody touting Caleb Williams, the guy since he was in high school and Oklahoma and coming out of USC winning the Heisman. Obviously you have to go with the guy that is projected better, but I still think there's a realm where Justin Fields could have been the quarterback, and you would give him a Marvin Harrison Jr. to go with a Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. You got
Yeah.
a freaking triplet right there. I mean, you giving him.
And don't forget the tight end.
And Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett as a tight end too, and DeAndre Swift in the backfield as well. And you can just trade the 9th pick and get whatever else you need. So, all eyes on Chicago, but all eyes on the Pittsburgh Steelers too.
Yep, because it's gonna be. It's really gonna be. Was it a Justin Fields problem or was it a Chicago problem? That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be. We're gonna find out. That's the whole thing. We are going to find out. But like I said, Chicago is about to be on the clock.
Yep, Chicago is going to be on the clock. And well, that's all we got for today's show. Because next week it's about to be wild. Because we got the pro days to talk about, and we're talking about Jaden Daniels and Drake May as they both get ready for their pro days and continue this toxic debate, not only on Commanders Twitter, but Patriots Twitter too. So we're going to get y'all a show next week, and C. Henry probably going to have his wild takes as well. But it's your boy DT. We got Lady E. This is Enters the Lab podcast presented by Red Zone DC Media. And we also have breaking news because we're going to have our first mock draft next week. So
do y'all want a guard this year? Because y'all might need another guard this year. I just want to say.
Yes, I do want a guard. In the first round or second? No. I think they're going to tackle.
They're going to tackle. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Such a nasty stray. But look, we're going to see you guys next week. This is Enters the Lab podcast presented by Red Zone DC Media.